Okay. Those of you that are watching this online, you can't really see the PowerPoint well. Sorry. But it will be uploaded with the video, and so you can follow along with it while listening to this or open 2 tabs, whatever. Your notes are uploaded as an assignment, and they'll go along with the PowerPoint as well. You can fill it out from there. B-Day students, if you're watching this, this is the same stuff we're going over on Thursday. If you have any questions, concerns, anything like that, leave a comment on the video, or you can shoot me an email and we'll get it figured out. So Unit 1, we're talking maps and basic geographic skills. This is the stuff you have to need for this class, okay? And if I wander out of the frame, I'm sorry. I wander while I teach. So first of all, geography. It is the study of the distribution and interaction of physical and human features on the Earth's surface. Basically, it's what makes the world the world. Okay? There's a few different parts of geography. You have physical geography, economic, cultural, and population geography. That's the big 4 chunks, and that's what the next couple of units will be on, is going through those chunks before we start getting down specifically into the regions of the world. And if I go too fast, let me know. Okay? So synthesizing evidence. I hate that word. Synthesizing involves combining processed information with other knowledge to logically reach a new interpretation and understanding of context. Basically what this means is you're taking all this information in and using it to decide what you know or what you need to know. Primary and secondary sources, I cannot talk. Primary and secondary sources enable us to examine evidence closely and place it in a broader context. You'll also have a primary secondary source assignment on Classroom. When I'm done with this, I'll post it. Super easy. If it's primary, you mark it with a P. If it's secondary, you mark it with an S. It's not hard at all. A primary source is an artifact, document, image, or other source of information that was created during the time under study. So basically, a primary source is from that time. Okay? So we're talking like newspaper articles, diaries, pictures, video. If you go back even farther, like arrowheads, old guns, swords, things like that. Anything like that is a primary source. An artifact or a tool is an object that tells us about the people from the past. So primary source is an artifact. A secondary source is a document, image, or other piece of evidence that has to do with a primary source. Okay, it discusses information originally presented elsewhere. For example, if Liana, right? Did I get it right that time? If Liana writes an essay on a letter she read from a soldier during the Vietnam War, her essay is a secondary source. The letter itself is the primary source. Make sense? Okay. Super easy concept. Still easy to get a little mixed up, but you should be okay. Yes?
Wait, but primary and secondary, that says image and document.
Do what?
Like,
Okay, I see what you're saying. They both say document, image, or other source of information.
yeah.
That's because both of them can be one of those. For example, if I take a picture, okay, of the White House, that picture in that instance would be a secondary source. The White House would be the primary source. Okay, or like if I had, for example, you guys already know my grandma passed away back in May. My mom was going through all her stuff, and she found a letter that my great uncle had written back in like 1915. Okay? She took a picture of that letter and sent it to me to show me. The letter itself is the primary source, the document. The image of that document is a secondary source. Does that make sense? Okay. Any other questions about this? So there are 5 themes of geography. You have the location. Okay? This is defined according to its position on the Earth's surface. The location is very simple. It's where it is. Okay? You have place. These are locations that have distinctive features that give them meaning and character defined from other places. So, for example, I guess any place would work as an example. Broadway. Okay? New York, Broadway, Times Square. That's a place. It is unified by different things to make it a separate place from, say, Hell's Kitchen or Uptown or Downtown or whatever. Does that make sense? A region is a unit on Earth's surface that has unifying characteristics. The South. Okay? In the South, you like home cooking and NASCAR. Unifying characteristics. With the region, you'll see belts a lot, like the Sun Belt, and that's the Florida coast, Louisiana, Alabama, the areas where it's really sunny. The Rust Belt is where the factories were, Ohio, Indiana, up through there. You guys are probably more familiar with the phrase the Bible Belt, which is still the South, but it's where there's like 15 churches on every street corner. Okay? From right here, there's at least 5 churches within a mile of the school. That's why it's the Bible Belt. Super religious. Movement is the way people, products, and information move from one place to another. And human environment interaction is the relationship between people and their environment. This is where you get like pollution, or like the Inuit up in Alaska build igloos because they have snow to build with. The Native Americans that lived on the plains used teepees because they moved around more often. Does that make sense? And there's different things like human environment interaction. That could be everything from pollution and our effect on the environment to the clothes you wear. Okay? For example, Elliot's got a t-shirt, jeans, and boots. If Elliot lived in Nova Scotia, up in Canada, he would have a jacket on. Probably wouldn't be cowboy boots, it'd be snow boots, and probably something different than jeans, something warmer. Does that make sense? If Elliot lived in Miami, it'd probably be flip-flops, shorts, and a tank top. I mean, the environment affects everything, from what your house looks like to what you wear. Sources for obtaining information. Geographic information may be acquired from a variety of sources. It supports the process of inquiry into the nature of countries, cities, and environments. And there's your list of sources. I'm not going to read that list right now because we're going to go through them one by one. Okay? But they are in order on your notes on your little table. You want to go ahead and get them filled in.
Just those little bullets.
I think it's the left-hand column, because the information on each one's in the right-hand column, and that's what we're going to go over here. You guys let me know when you're good.
There's supposed to be an extra bit.
An extra bullet. is supposed to be diagrams.
No, I already got diagrams, just.
I know, the one with nothing beside it's supposed to be diagrams. Field work, you skipped, you went from GIS to satellite images, you skipped field work. I said, I know I triple counted that yesterday, but I wasn't quite sure what was going on there. Okay, we'll move on, but these still go in order as we go through. So, GIS. This is a geographic information system. It combines information from a place from several sources. This can be databases, maps, satellite images, whatever. All of it is piled into this one source, and then it finds the answer to your problem. Okay? So you can feed a bunch of satellite images into it, and it can tell you, you know, this is what's changed, or this is what it means. Field work, it's very simple. It's when the geographer goes out into the field. So if they go out to interview somebody or take pictures or anything like that, those personal observations is field work. Satellite images. Satellites are human-made objects that orbit the Earth. Landsat is a series of satellites that orbit more than 100 miles above the Earth. If you use Google Earth or click the satellite option on Google Maps, they're using satellite images to do that. Photographs. Oh, in terms of geography and photographs, this is geographers taking photographs of the landscape from a plane. Okay. Maps and globes are the two most important tools geographers use. We'll go more about that. Maps are two-dimensional, globes are three-dimensional. For example, globe, okay? Maps. Good? Come on. Thank you. Primary sources we already talked about, so I'm not going to hit them again. Diagrams, this is just charts, things like that. Okay? I didn't feel like I needed to type out an entire thing on diagrams. Diagrams are like charts and things like that. I just didn't think I needed to type all that out. Figured you guys know what diagrams are. Good? Okay. Charts, graphs, things like that, those are diagrams. Any questions? Everybody good on that table? All right. Globes. The globes, there are advantages and disadvantages. Advantages, they're much more accurate than maps. Globes aren't distorted because that's what the world actually looks like. The world is not flat. Flat Earth is not true. Shouldn't have to say that. Globe disadvantages, they're not very portable. I mean, I can take that and carry it around. But if I'm trying to explain something, it's not very useful to carry a globe around. They don't show detail. The most detailed you get is like capital cities on it, and just where they're marked. They're more expensive, and there's no thematic globes. Like I can't get a globe that shows me the population or things like that. You'll either have satellite image globes or political globes. That's it. And when I say that, political, I'm not talking Democrat, Republican, things like that. A political globe just shows the borders and names of countries. With maps, they're cheaper. They show more detail. They can be have themes used for comparing things. They can be put into a book called an atlas. Okay. Got a couple of them over there. And maps are very portable. Okay, you can fold up a map, put it in your pocket, take it where you need it. Disadvantages. Maps are distorted. The Earth is not flat. Okay, so if you think of like if you take a picture and blow it up really big, it gets distorted, right? Or sometimes if you take a picture on your phone and then print it off, it looks a little weird. Same thing with maps. They're distorted because the world is not flat. For example, this is Greenland. It looks twice the size of the United States. In reality, it's not even close. Maps can distort shape, area, direction, and distance, and this is somewhat solved by different map projections, and we'll talk about projections in a second. Any questions on the advantages, disadvantages of maps, globes, anything like that? All right. Map projections. There's three main map projections you need. You have the Mercator projection, which is square. That's your normal map. Okay. This is mainly used by ship navigators because it distorts the bottom and the top, but it leaves the middle part okay, so it's easier to navigate by ship. Polar, these are round, okay, and they're usually shown from the top, like this. And it shows the shortest distance between two places. This is mainly used by airline pilots. Robinson, if you see a map with rounded edges, like this one down here, that's a Robinson projection, and that's used to compare data in atlases. Because although it still distorts the top and the bottom, it's not as bad as a complete square. Does that make sense? We good on the projections? So you got a few different types of maps. You have physical maps that show terrain and elevation. You have population maps that show how many people live in a per square mile or kilometer. Political maps show human-made features such as cities, roads, borders. Resource maps show items that are valuable to us. So it'll show you like where oil fields are, or coal, salt, whatever. Contour maps show elevation using isolines. The tighter the lines are, the higher the elevation is. Okay? I'll show you an example of that in a second. Any question on types of maps here?
Who's the other three?
Other three?
Yeah, there's three more.
We'll get to.
Oh,
I know one's thematic, one is mental, and the other one, I can't remember off the top of my head. But are we good on these five? Okay. You also have mental maps. These are maps in your head. Okay, this is how you know where things are. For example, I can talk right now. I can tell you exactly how to get to Myrtle Beach without looking at a map, using the mental map I've built in my head over the years. Okay? From the school, you get on the 4-lane, go to the interstate, follow the interstate down to where it splits 77, 74. Take 74, go through Winston, get on 40. From 40, you're there about a mile. You take the exit heading down towards Ashboro to the zoo. Just follow it out, go through Rockingham. Once you go through Rockingham, there's a gas station on your left. It's the Shell station, I believe. You just follow that road all the way out, and you're going to get to another little gas station on your right. You're going to take a left, follow it out. And once you get past the federal prison, you take a right. You follow that out, you're going to end up with the Bojangles across the road and at a 4-way intersection. You take a right there at the Bojangles. You follow it out. There's a KFC on the right and used to be a Wendy's, now it's a nail salon on the left. Take a left, follow it out to the McDonald's, take a right, go straight.
I can't even remember my way.
And you'll be to the beach.
Is that true, or did you actually just like make that up?
No, that's true.
Oh my goodness.
Landmarks are the easiest way to remember where you're going and how to get there, at least for me.
yeah.
Now, besides 77 and 74 and 40, I can't tell you any of the road names or numbers. But I can tell you how to get there. Good?
I could not.
That's a mental map. A simpler one would be to get from here to, say, Dairy Bar over in Galax. You get on the 4-lane, follow it out, take a left at the stoplight next to the little market and the weight training place, whose owners are huge Trump supporters. They have all kinds of flags now. Take a left there, follow Main Street out. Dairy Bar is going to be on your left past the rec center. That's a mental map. Make sense? I feel like I just really hurt a couple of your heads.
Yes.
Sorry. But it's not even that. It's just knowing where things are. For example, in current events, if I tell you that the president of Russia got shot, you can think, okay, Russia's over here. That's where it happened. Make sense? This is a contour map. Okay? These are isolines. Thematic maps, they can cover all kinds of things: population, economic activity, resource, language, ethnicity, climate, precipitation, vegetation, physical or political. Thematic, it just means the theme.
And also,
Let me look at your map.
What's one for
Okay. Types of maps. It goes contour, mental maps. Okay. The one after contour is mental maps.
this was mental.
Yes. And then the next two are the next two we go over. That will be the slides.
Okay, so
Okay.
thematic's not on here?
Thematic's not on.
What are these two?
We haven't gotten there yet. Small scale maps. Maps can either be large or small scale. Now, the way they go over is a little weird because it's backwards than the way you would think it would be. Small scale maps means there's not a lot of detail. Okay? It shows a very large area but not a lot of detail. So the way to remember this is small scale maps have a small amount of detail. Large scale maps, however, have a lot more detail, but it's a very small area. Okay? For example, a small scale map would be the map of the United States. Okay? You might be able to see Galax on it. I doubt it's even labeled. Large scale map is a map of Galax, and you can see the restaurants and the roads and everything on it. That make sense? Small scale, small amount of detail. Large scale, large amount of detail. Parts of a map. These go in order with the next table. But we're going to go through them piece by piece. So, first set. A title. Tells you what the map's about. Okay? You might say United States 1860, and it's a map of the U.S. before the Civil War. Compass rose. Shows you the directions. The cardinal directions are north, south, east, and west. Intermediate directions are northeast, northwest, southwest, southeast. Okay? Does everybody know what a compass looks like? In case you don't, this is what a compass looks like. North, south, east, and west are cardinal directions. Northeast, northwest, southwest, southeast are intermediate because they're in between these bigger ones. Labels are words or phrases that explain features on the maps, so like city names, country names, things like that. Yes, sir.
Oh, this thing just glitched out.
What is? The Google Doc?
You know, like a lot of my answers disappeared, and like now it says north, south, east, and west are north. It's like, I don't know, it's just like blink.
Okay, I'll be right there. And a legend or key lists and explains different things on the map. The colors, the different symbols, things like that.
You know, all these disappeared and all up here and stuff disappeared, and then I think this changed right there. Like that didn't, I was like right here.
It just changed where you got rid of the line. All your answers were still there.
But I did these.
Hit Control Z. so you're just missing a couple of those.
I must have not have did these, I must not have been paying attention.
Okay. Well, the slideshow's on Classroom, so you can get it straightened out.
Okay.
The blank you're on is cardinal directions. Just make sure, you don't get rid of the word R right there.
Okay. Cardinal direction?
Cardinal directions, yes. So I'll leave this up for just a second. Is this an easy enough way to do your notes?
I agree.
I guess.
It's better than last year.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna figure that out yet, but we'll make it work. Okay. That one's supposed to- Okay. Probably shouldn't do that, but I don't want that light on. Okay. Lines of latitude. Okay. I'm gonna take my mask off first so you can see this. Latitude, longitude. Look at the way my mouth is when you say those words. Lat, it goes wide. Okay, it goes side to side. Long, when you make that long sound, your mouth goes up and down. Okay? It's how your mouth forms. So longitude are the up and down lines. Latitude are the side to side lines. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So latitude goes east to west. Longitude goes north to south. Latitude lines are called parallels. They don't touch. Okay? Important lines of latitude. The equator is 0 degrees. Tropic of Cancer is 23 degrees and 26 minutes north. Tropic of Capricorn is 23 degrees, 26 minutes south. Arctic Circle is 66 degrees, 33 minutes north. Antarctic Circle is 66 degrees, 33 minutes south. Okay? Longitude, there's really only one important longitude line, and that's the prime meridian, and it runs basically through London, through England, and the very western side of Africa. The longitudinal lines are also called meridians, and they connect at the north and south poles. Let me pull this down so this- Okay, for example, this is a little bit of a dated map, but whatever. The equator runs right through here, okay? 0 degrees side to side. Prime meridian runs right down through here, okay? Up and down. Questions with that? Equator basically runs like this. The prime meridian runs like this. Okay? Lines that go up and down are longitude, side to side is latitude. Good? Good? Okay. Absolute location. You were not good, were you?
I said no.
Oh, I thought you said, oh. Okay, there you go. Sorry. I'll wait a second. Wish I could play the Jeopardy music right now.
Where's the next one gonna be at now? Right here?
Yeah, it'll be just the next box down. So, going ahead, the next box is absolute location. To find the absolute location, you use lines of longitude, lines of latitude. For example, if it's 33 degrees north, 33 degrees west, that would put you somewhere in 33. probably South Carolina or so. Maybe not even that high. But percent. So latitude, longitude finds absolute location. This is an exact point. Relative location is not an exact location. This is the ones you give when you're given directions. Okay? That's when I say, like when I say the movie theater in Galax is over by the McDonald's. That's a relative location. If I gave you the absolute location, it'd be 33 degrees, 66 minutes, whatever, in some seconds. The other thing with cardinal, with longitude, latitude, it goes degrees, minutes, seconds.
Oh crap.
Scale shows the ratio between a unit of length on a map and a unit of distance on Earth. For example, 1 is 500 miles, that's the ratio scale. A bar scale shows the ratio of distance to the distance on Earth. Shoot. Any question on parts of the map? I was just seeing what was next. Once we get finished with the lesson, you'll have the rest of class to work on your classroom stuff, so maybe you won't have that much homework.
I'm having a hard time seeing that.
Which work? Down here?
No, it's still kind of on the top. It's like blurry for me.
Okay. Let's come back here. North and that's not on this slide. That's the slide behind. We're right here. This is absolute location.
Okay.
And if you miss something on the notes, don't worry about it because I put the PowerPoint up on Classroom too, so you can go back and get it straightened out. And I'm trying to make these to where they go word for word with your notes to help. Okay. Move on. Symbols represent items such as capital cities, economic activities, natural resources. Colors represent a variety of information. You gotta look at the map legend to figure out what the colors mean. Okay? One of the ones that can usually go is green is land, blue is water. Usually.
What's the vocabulary?
Vocabulary.
Unit 1 vocabulary.
Oh, that's something else. Don't worry about that right this second.
Okay. Where's the slide at?
I haven't put it up. I'm going to put it up with this video, so it'll be up in just a minute.
Okay.
All right. How maps change. So you have, and we're almost done. I think there's like two slides left. So maps change all the time. Such as place names depending where you are. Like in China, the island of Taiwan is known as Formosa. It's a part of China. In Taiwan, they think that they are separate from China, so they're known as Taiwan or the Republic of China. In the Middle East, you have Palestine, which becomes Israel, but it's still known as Palestine to the Arabic nations nearby because they refuse to recognize Israel. These are the areas in the West Bank and Gaza. Then you have the perspective of place names. For example, depending where you are in the Middle East, it's either the Persian Gulf or the Arabian Gulf. If you're Japanese, it's the Sea of Japan. If you're from China, it's the East Sea, because they don't want to recognize Japan. And then it's Middle East versus Southwest Asia. It's just different ways things are named. Boundaries can change. For example, looking at Africa from 1914 to 1990s. Europe after major wars or 1990. The Soviet Union and Russia, just the way the maps changed, and that's a huge deal. The Middle East before and after Israel and the wars in 1967. And you have disputed areas such as Korea's Western Sahara, former Yugoslavia, Kashmir. Sometimes things aren't recognized on maps because it's disputed area. Okay?
How you spell that?
Which one?
The Yugos.
Yugoslavia is Yugo
Uh-huh.
Slavia.
Oh, okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any questions on any of this stuff? Like I said, you guys will have your unit test on Monday. B-Day students, we'll go over this on Thursday. You'll have your unit test on Friday. But you have this video to watch to get a feel for the information. I'll go over it again on Thursday. You'll have vocab quiz, test review, and a primary secondary source activity on Classroom. At least if I don't add more things, but definitely those things. If you guys have any questions or concerns, please let me know. Shoot me an email, comment on the video, whatever. You guys have any questions? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and hit end on this.